Hey, everybody, this is me. This is Sirwalterj Unplugged. Listen, I was told that opposites attract. I've been told that all my life, and I believed it. I went out there looking for it, and I was attracted to that which was opposite of me. I think many of us who's watching this could say the same thing. But there's a problem because even though it seemed that way and everybody's saying it, you think it's true, but it's not really. And we're going to look into the science behind the opposite attract thing and find out if it's really true. Right here on Unplugged. Hello, everybody. This is Sirwalterj Jones, and this is Unplugged. We go live every night at 9 o'clock Central Standard Time here in Chicago. Go ahead, hit the share button and the like button. Subscribe to this channel if you like, if you want to get notified when we do go live. As far as the opposites attract, we have to define what opposite is. Because if you're looking at it as from a color scheme point of view, then I will say there was a time when I was attracted to white women. It was a very small window where I dated about 3 white women in my life because I was hearing about white women and how they submitted to black men opposed to how black women submitted to them. And I bit the bullet, meaning the rhetoric from people saying that white women were better when it came to black men because they would do anything you want them to do. And as I got a little more mature in who I was in the dynamics of relationships and how important women are in your life, I realized that I didn't want a slave. I did not want a slave. I wanted someone who was intellectually on my level and not trying to dip in somebody's vanilla just because what we heard about her. And that is a stereotypical talking point that white women are more submissive and subservient to black men. And you see a lot of wealthy black men and those in Hollywood and entertainment. You look on their shoulder, there's a white woman there. That's a very controversial dynamic there. And it causes a lot of black women to get upset, saying, we lost one, we lost another. And then the other black women will say, well, we never had him. If that's what he want to do, let him have it. We got there's a whole lot of other black men out there, And so it's a controversial topic. And who could handle that other than me? Here I am. I'm here for the job. So that was one dynamic of opposite attract that I was attracted to until I wasn't. Not saying I'm not attracted to white women, but I'm not attracted to them like I used to be. I prefer black women. It's my preference, and that doesn't mean that I'm a racist or bigot or anything like that or discriminate. Oh, yeah, discrimination? Yeah, we all discriminate. And that's one thing that the judge told me during jury duty. He talked to every one of the jurists, jurors. He asked us all questions. Are you prejudiced? Yeah. And we were like, no. Everyone said no. And when he got through with the last guy, he said, you all are lying. He said, we all have some prejudiceness about ourselves. And he was right. We all discriminate. And he's right. And not just in people, but in everything that we do, we discriminate. We prefer one thing over another. That's what discrimination typically is by definition. Although discrimination, as it pertains to people, is a more damning thing. It's unhealthy. But I discriminate when I have my money in my dollars in my pocket. I discriminate by putting the 20 on top of the 1. I prefer the 20 on top of that. That's a discriminate, right? So we do prefer those that are like us, look like us, talk like us, walk like us, I don't know, smell like us. ourselves. We're intelligent the same way. And so that is the topic today, why opposites rarely attract. If you were brought up on a diet of Disney fairy tales, you might be forgiven for thinking that opposites attract. Beauty and the Beast, Cinderella, Little Mermaid, all perpetuate the idea that the ideal partner is someone who has the opposite quality to ourselves. And Disney has screwed us all up. But Disney only created this because Disney felt that opposites do attract. But it's not just Disney. The idea that opposites attract has completely saturated the film industry. Think of the neurotic comedian who falls for the three-spirited singer in Woody Allen's Annie Hall, if you've ever seen the movie. For example, in fact, one study found that almost 80% of us believe in the idea that opposites attract until you decide to get the opposite and you realize that opposites attract, but opposites don't keep. A new study tracking people's digital footprints, how they behave online, suggests that this isn't actually true in real life. And it isn't the first time science has come to that conclusion. For decades, psychologists and sociologists have pointed out that the idea that opposites attract is really a myth. In fact, almost all the evidence suggests that opposites very rarely attract. The psychologist Don Byrne, that is, was one of the first to study the impact of similarity on the early stages of relationships. So to do so, he developed a method known as the phantom stranger technique. The procedure begins with participants completing a questionnaire about their attitudes on a variety of topics, such as the use of nuclear weapons. And next, they take part in the personal perception phrase, where they evaluate a non-existing person based on their responses to the same questionnaire. Byrne manipulated the degree of similarity between the participants and the phantom stranger. His results showed that participants reported feeling more attractive to people who held similar attitudes. In fact, the greater the degree of attitudinal similarity, the greater the attraction and liking. To explain his findings, Byrne argued that most of us have a need for logical and consistent view of the world, and we tend to favor ideas and beliefs that support and reinforce the consistency. People who agree with us validate our attitudes and so satisfy this need, whereas people who disagree with us tend to stimulate negative feelings, anxiety, confusion, and maybe even anger that leads to repulsion. So his research was limited to similarities of attitudes, but other research has suggested that there may also be greater attraction to others who share their social demographic dimensions. For example, studies shown that online daters are more likely to contact and reply to others who have similar educational and ethnic backgrounds as themselves and are of a similar age. Howsoever, Byrne later research suggested that attitudinal similarity may be more important than social demographic similarity when it comes to relationship information. And that's why when you look at date.com and eHarmonies, there's a profile, and you have to have a profile match. Because I have a profile on eHarmony years ago. I never took it down, so I'm sure it's still up there. It's smiling like this. I'm sure it's still up there. When I was lonely and just wanted somebody, and these websites was new on the block. Now y'all can go doing searches on eHarmony for me. Good luck. Good luck. That ain't me. That ain't me. It's just a guy. It's me, but it ain't me. And those profiles, you wanted somebody who had likeness and interest like you. So This isn't quite the end of the story, he says. Psychologist Arthur Aaron believes that while similarity is important, there may be some situations in which it can actually determine attraction. He argued that people also have a need to grow and expand the self, and that one reason why we form relationships with others is because we can assimilate some of the qualities of our partners, which promotes growth. Growth. The implication is that we will be attracted to others who offer the greatest potential for self-expansion. Aha. And someone who is similar in value and traits provide much less potential for growth than someone who is different. So the model ends up predicting the similarity can sometimes be attractive, especially if you believe that there is a good possibility a relationship will develop. So this guy, Aaron, his research using the phantom stranger technique would seem to support this particular idea. So there's some people who you think who could benefit you by being different, and they can see some of your flaws and some things that you need, and they can build that thing up because they are different. And in my book, The 4 Women That Men Desire, the last girl, her name is Lilith. She is so strange and opposite. She's wild, she's dangerous, she's daring, she takes risks, and that man is attracted to her. But he's only attracted to her because of her edge. And he just wants to dip in the chocolate, and then he can't dwell with her peaceably, though, because she's too much. She's too much, and so he would do whatever he needed to do with her, but for temporary reasons, he cannot introduce her to mom. She can't meet mama, no. So she's a private person in his life, and she stimulates him when he needs it, but he can't marry her. Why? Because that kind of opposite, it attracts, but it attracts the flesh, but it doesn't really attract the heart, where the love part stays. She is his addiction. So that is the attraction of opposites. It's the addiction and that wildness. And this is why when I've polled a lot of women in church, those who said that they were saved, sanctified, Holy Ghost filled, and all this stuff, church girls often choose hardcore street men. Those are the ones they date and eventually marry. Look at your church. Look at even some of the missionaries whose husbands are not there. They're not saved. Many of the women who are married and their husbands are not there, typically they're not saved. The young women there who are single, but they're not dating the men at the church. They're dating someone outside. Why? There's this edge that the alpha male brings to this one. How many movies and books and TV shows have they written on the hardcore guy? They love that edgy, dangerous, breaking the law guy. And I asked that question on social media several years ago, to women. Why do you choose these men? And many of them says, I don't know, but it's something about that edginess that they like. So it is in us to want that edge, not just from men's point of view, but the women want that as well, because y'all are judging us by the women that we decide to have in our life. Y'all don't fit. Y'all don't. I guess opposites do attract. But here's the problem. It attracts, but it don't keep. And we force marriage in that situation because she's here now. She's convenient. And so maybe she's here because I'm supposed to marry her. Then you marry her and then you realize, oh my God, I made the biggest mistake in my life. All the things that attracted me while we were dating now is repulsive to me now that we're married. And women go through that same thing. The way he chews his gum is so attractive. And then you get married, you're like, I cannot stand the way you chew your gum. So we have to really be careful about this whole opposite attract thing and then be chasing after it. We do. Because let me tell you, I still love a black woman. I'm not a racist, but let me tell you, the blacker the berry, it's sweeter the juice. Black don't crack. And there's something about a black woman that cannot be compared. And even white men know that. That's why they're after you. That's why I'm telling you. And that's why a lot of white women buy certain things to get her body to look like one. Her hair, she gets and braiding of the hair and all, and the skin and the Botox and what have you. She trying to look young like y'all black. She envies. She envies it. The BBLs, all that stuff. She envies you. She envies you. Here's a funny switch to that. The black woman does the same thing. She is lightening her skin to look like the white woman, and she's putting sew-ins and weaves and what have you, and wigs, this hair going all the way down to her buttocks. Because why? Both of them are envying one another. Opposites attract in some of the strangest ways. If you disagree with this, why don't you come sit on the couch and we can talk about it? Why ain't none of y'all showing up on the couch? Y'all lying to me. Y'all say y'all disagree, but y'all never come. Oh, you need the address. 555 Sycamore Avenue. Come to 555 Sycamore Avenue, and I'll be here waiting for you on the couch. All right? So how do I recap this? How do I shut this down? All right? Opposites do attract. I do agree with it. They do. I think it is in the statement itself. It's like saying once saved, always saved. I hate that statement. As true as it is. I hate it because it confuses people and it divides the people. Once saved, always saved is true. I just wish they would say something else, because people think that you can do whatever you want to and be saved. That's not what the statement means. That's how horrible the statement is. So opposites attract can be misleading, because opposites do attract. The problem is the attraction. We need to focus on our attraction. Why are we attracted to the opposite? And then you wonder, did God send me this person? Well, if you're a man, Scripture says, he that findeth a wife finds a good thing. Even though, my God, you have every right, brothers, you find them. But in today's social world, the women are getting on their knees. They're the ones that's calling you. They're the ones that are chasing after the men today. And the men have to chase after women like it was when I was coming up. No, we don't have to chase women anymore. You just stand still and they'll come to you like the animals came to Noah on the ark. The animals just came and showed up. So brothers, they just gonna come and pop up. Right? So that attraction can be a problem, because the Scriptures talks about the flesh, and there's nothing good under the flesh, and you're getting pulled in by your own lust, and you're doing that to yourself, and you blame the devil, or you blame this guy, he lured me in. He didn't have a gun to your head and lure you in to a relationship. You wanted it because you were attracted. The problem again with attraction is lean not unto what? Don't lean to that. Your attraction can get you in trouble. So you might want something, but like a child who gets a toy, he has Woody. The movie Toy Story. Woody was his favorite. Woody was a doll, and had the hat, the cowboy hat and all, and the whole rope, what have you. The problem with that is the toy was that a new toy came by the name of Buzz Lightyear. He could fly. He was an outer space guy with the whole helmet and everything. And he put Woody down, forgot about Woody, and played with Buzz Lightyear. See, that's what's happening in we attracted, and we walk away from that which we fell in love with. This is why God is like, okay, you're attracted to the world, but he says, return to your first love. Do your first works all over again. You love the devil now all of a sudden because he put Buzz Lightyear in your face. That sounds like a part 2 to me. Let's do it. Come sit on the couch. Talk to me. Sirwalterj Jones, Unplugged.